This is Shreyans Creates.
For us. As you can see, we've got some very special people here this afternoon to help us with our book launch. And it's my job to welcome them to this school on your behalf. So well, as I welcome them, then I'd like you to also give them a welcome by saying hello to them also. The first person I'd like to welcome is Mr. Mayor over here. You can tell who Mr. Mayor is because he's got his wonderful necklace on. He's got two necklaces now. So you can tell...
That's the Mayor.
Yes, that's the Mayor necklace, and it's very grand, isn't it? So could you just say good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, please?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor.
Good afternoon.
We are delighted that you could attend this event at our school, and we welcome you most warmly. Being the Mayor of Woking is a very important job. Just before we came in here, I said to Mr. Mayor, what is the best thing about being the Mayor? Anybody any ideas of what you think it might be? Yes, what do you think, Ethan? Do you know, you're quite right, you're absolutely spot on, that's exactly what he said. He said it was to see lots of children and to come and visit schools. So you're having a lovely afternoon already, aren't you?
Yeah, indeed.
And we are delighted that you're here. We're also delighted, Madam Mayor, that you could come and accompany Mr. Mayor to this lovely event. The next person I'd like you to say good afternoon to, well, could we also say good afternoon to Madam Mayoress, please? Ready?
Good afternoon, Madam Mayoress.
Good afternoon. Another person you might not recognise on the stage here is Mrs. Linda Kemeny, whose job title is, she is the Cabinet Member for Children and Learning, and she works for Surrey. And I also said to her, what's the best part of your job? What she said? Any ideas? children, meeting children and going into school and seeing about all the exciting things they're doing and looking at a huge variety of schools. So we welcome you most warmly, Mrs. Kemeny. So could you all say good afternoon to Mrs. Kemeny, please?
Good afternoon, Mrs. Kemeny.
Good afternoon, everyone. And this gentleman here on the end is Mr. Kumar, and he has been part of the organising committee to get everything together for this afternoon's special event. So could you also say good afternoon to Mr. Kumar, please?
Good afternoon, Mr. Kumar.
And I think two people that you probably do recognise are Mrs. Steele and Mr. Dunsford, who are no strangers to our school because they come here every day. But I do know that they're very excited about today's event, and I'd like to say thank you for your support in helping to organise it. So could you just say good afternoon to Mrs. Steele and Mr. Dunsford, just to be polite?
Good afternoon, Mrs. Steele. Good afternoon.
Lastly, but by no means least, I need to welcome Shreyans back to Horsell Junior School. Shreyans is, of course, the reason that we're all here, because he's been very busy since he came to this school, writing his own book. He left the school, I think, only 2 years ago, so he's no stranger to many of you. With it is, Shreyans, that you've come back to launch your book at Horsell. I know some of you have already had a chance to meet Shreyans and talk about his book with him, and after this ceremony there will be another opportunity to talk to him and to buy a special signed copy of his book. So you're very welcome. Could you say good afternoon to Shreyans, please?
Good afternoon, Shreyans.
Good afternoon.
Right, we have a small presentation for our guests. I think we've got those ready. I've never been to a book launch before, let alone organised one. Anybody here been to a book launch before? Well, you have. Well, you know more about it than I do, probably. Maybe your first book launch too. Well, we're going to hear from a few people this afternoon about how pleased and proud we are that it's happening here at this school. And Shreyans, a bit later on, is going to read some of his book to us. So it's time to sit back and enjoy the first ever book launch event at Horsell Senior Junior School. And Mrs. Steele is going to kick us off with a few words.
Thank you. Well, as we said, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome all our guests to Horsell Junior. We're always very proud of all our children within our school. And writing, as they all know, and Shreyans has learnt, is really, really important to us. And it's one of the things that you use every day in your life. You can't get away without being able to write and to read. And so there's a lot of emphasis on that. We're very proud of the children, both present and in past, have moved on, because of the high success that we already get within English. Last year, we had 96% who got to level 4 for their reading, 93% for their writing. For their reading in level 5, we had 74%, and the national average is 48%. That is a huge difference. And the writing, 39% level 5. So we had a lot of emphasis on the importance of writing. But it's not just about the grades that we get at the end. It's the written word is so important. It's powerful. It's a fantastic tool that can make a difference. There are some very important documents that change the lives of many people. We have our religious writings. We have the Bible, the Quran, with all the different scriptures. And they give us such an important message. But they had to be thought about. Every single word had to be put Is this the right word? Is this the way I should be putting it? Is my meaning getting across? There's the Declaration of Independence that the Americans are so passionate about. It expresses their feelings. We have important laws that have been really well written. A law that's made a difference to the lives of children was the Factory Act. It took away the lives, the horrendous lives that some children had to live, and that was having to work in factories. And it said they should be going to school, they should be learning. They should be learning to read and to write so they can better themselves. And since then, it's one of the things that schools has done. We want every single body, every single child to be able to leave, being able to communicate, making a difference. Writing can also take you to a completely different world. Such a fantastic form of entertainment for others. Poetry, stories. You can go to space when you write, and you can take other people with you. You can go to completely different worlds. You can go back in time, you can go forward in the time, and you can do that with words. And it's words that you can create. I've read over my time teaching so many fantastic pieces of writing. In fact, only this morning I read a passage of somebody in Year 5's writing, and I just thought, whoa, this is brilliant. And that's what we want as teachers, just that ability to inspire. When I heard about Sharon's writing, and the fact that it's one of our members of staff that inspired Shreyans to continue to write. And I read his book, and he does exactly that. He takes you into a different world. He has fantasy in there. He includes things that he knows about. The dinner ladies, this school. And you can imagine it, you can see those children running off and hiding. Glad to say those dinner ladies aren't quite the ones that exist, but the fantasy and the imagination, and what he's able to do is actually share that with others, with you. It's absolutely fantastic. I'd like to thank Shreyans and his family for giving us the opportunity to share his first book launch. So when he's a world-famous author and he's selling books by the billions, you will be able to say, I was there at his first book launch. And then, when you're writers, when you're authors, when you're putting pen to paper or typing it away on a computer, you can say, I know how important words are. Words can make a difference to my life and to that of others. So thank you, Shreyans, for sharing it with us. I think that your book goes extremely well.
Mayor's going to say a few words to us.
Well, I'm just going to say a few words to Mrs. Steele and school. It was just such a lovely experience coming through the main door into this hall and seeing a sea of blue pullovers. And I thought to myself, what a fantastic school, and what a great privilege it is to be here. And what a great privilege, as Shreyans must have felt, to have been a member of this community. Although he's now too old to come back to it, when he comes back to England in the autumn, he'll have to go to senior school. But Mrs. Steele said so many wise words about how wonderful reading is, and how influential it is, and how it changes things. And what a very great achievement it is to have a book published when you're so young. Now, my favourite author is a lady called Jane Austen, and she wrote her first book, and she sent it off to a publisher. And that publisher put it in his desk drawer, and he forgot about it for 17 years. And it was only after 17 years he suddenly found it in his drawer and read it and thought, this is a jolly good book and I'm going to publish it. And after that she became very famous and went on to have 4 more books published, and then very sadly she died rather young. But it just shows the influence that books have and how important it is to have the written word. One of my favourite presents that I had recently was a little gadget called a Kindle, and that is like a book, but it's a book that you don't have to turn the pages. You press a button and it changes the pages. So you can read in crowded places, and it's very easy to read in bed as well, but you can read it in crowded places like on a train without having to spread your book out and having to hold a rather big heavy book. And it's a wonderful gadget, and it really brings the joy of reading available to everywhere. To every place you are, you can carry it in your pocket. But Mrs. Steele said so wisely that reading and the written word is so powerful. And there's one very famous little phrase that really encapsulates that. And that is that the pen is mightier than the sword. And more battles have been won, and more people's hearts won over by pens, by writing and reading, than they have by waving swords and shooting guns. So the pen is mightier than the sword, and to start young in life, I think, is a wonderful achievement. And I thank you all very much for your welcome here this afternoon, and the opportunity to join this celebratory book launch. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon again, and it's a real privilege for me to be here with you, and you all look absolutely great. I'm a county councillor, and I represent a part of Surrey. I also live in Woking, so I'm not too far away, and my division is very close to Horsell. And in my role as county councillor for schools, I think I have visited about 70 schools in 9 months, and that's an awful lot of schools. But it's really nice to be with you today for this important book launch. And as Mrs. Steele said and Mr. Mayor said, there is nothing more important than being able to read and to write. And she has told me of the excellent results which you're getting here in Horsell with your reading and writing. And that's absolutely great, because in Surrey, in the County Council, there is nothing more important to us than education and making sure that all of our children have the best possible start. So as well as looking after potholes, and I'm sure many of your parents complain about bad roads, and as well as looking after a lot of other things, we look after schools, and we're making sure that children who maybe do not read and write as well as all of you can, will have that ability, so that every child can go to a good school and have the best possible start. And I have a grandson who's 7 years old, and although he loves to see me, as soon as we've said hello and settled down and had a hug, I want to see his spelling book, I want him to read, and he hasn't really enjoyed that too much, but he now realises that when we go out for a drive or when we go anywhere, he can read road signs, which is always very helpful because I get lost. And reading is so important, and whether you read on a Kindle like Mr. Mayor, a little tablet, or whether you read real books, that is the best possible opportunity to improve your education and go on to have a really good higher education and really great achievements. So it's fantastic to be here today, to be part of this book launch. It's the first time I've been at a book launch. So within my 70 schools, I haven't had that opportunity yet. I've always been blown up in science classes. I've heard some great musical lessons going on, but this book launch is very special. So thank you for inviting me and giving me such a warm welcome, and I look forward to seeing another act. And Mr. Kumar is going to say a few words to us as well.
Mr. Steve Fisher, Mayors of Woking, Mrs. Kennedy, and usually all the friends and staff of this school. To develop the skills of writing or develop the skills of a child, it's very important. There are 3 factors involved in it. One, which is parents. Second, the school where he studies. And third is the society or community. So his parents has given full support for Shreyans to develop his career as an author, to write books, to write stories. The school has provided all the support from the school. You had your creative writing skills development classes and all. So that part is being done. And next, the third factor is the community or the society, how it is, about where the author is living. The influences what inspired him to write stories and books, etc. So I am coming from the community part. My name is Santosh Kumar, and I am the president of the Malayali Association, which is one of the biggest organized community group in Woking. So we are part of the Indian community, and I am very proud to be here standing on stage with all these dignitaries and also in front of you children, and hope this first book launch for school and for many of the children will be a big inspiration for you to start writing, and let this be a beginning for your future. Before I conclude, I would also use this opportunity to thank head teacher and the school organizing committee who has warmly welcomed this opportunity to held this book launch in this school, and all the support whenever I was in touch with Shreyan's father, and he was very much pleased, telling me all the time the school is overwhelmingly happy to hold this function here. And secondly, the mayor and the mayoress, also to Mrs. Kemini. When I called them to come over to this function, within their very busy schedule, they agreed to come over here and agreed to be part of this book launch. So I'm thanking everyone, and also I hope, I wish Shreyan's good luck. Let this be a beginning of a great author. Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, I wonder if you would do us the honour of unveiling the book, please.
Well, it's a great honour indeed. Ah, yes. And lo and behold, there is the book. My Sunny British Days. I must say that this book cannot have been written last summer. Trent would not have been able to find a Sunny British Days. And let's be.
Let's give him a clap. Shreyan is going to read a few passages of his book to you, just to tempt you into buying it. And I've heard he does some rather good voices when he's reading as well, so listen out for the different voices. Ready, Shreyan? Standing up or sitting down?
I'm reading two extracts. So the first one is from the story The Lost Island. My mom and a friend decided that we should go on a beach for our summer holidays. I was getting rather bored of making sandcastles, as whenever I'd get close to finishing it, the sand would fall down. So I thought it'd be much cleverer to play with my best friend Sam. There, he was at the end of the beach, trying to pull something from his hand, but I didn't pay much attention to it. I went to him and said, "Hey Sam, you want to play flying saucer?" Flying saucer, There's a game where the player throws a disc and the opponent catches it, similar to Frisbee. Is it extract number 2? Sam stopped and said, "Look," and he pointed at me. I turned around and was surprised to see a small tent in front of me. From inside came a small monster. It walked towards us and says, "You have to fight me to pass me." Sam and I looked at the 1/4 foot tall monster and looked each other in the eye, paused for a second and burst out laughing. Sam nearly fell on the ground laughing. I said to the monster, "Man, you're 1/4 foot tall and you want to fight us?" "Never underestimate a small thing," the monster said. "Because a sword can't do the job, a needle can." "You serious? You really want to fight us?" I asked. "Yes," the monster replied. "Each time you fight me, I grow taller. If you give up, I'll return to my normal height. Let me take you on one by one."
You can also tell the stories just as well as you've written them. That's great. And now, Mr. Duxford, I think we are coming towards the end of our...
Absolutely. A few people. So the first I think we really need to thank this afternoon is Frank himself. I know that every teacher in this room works very hard, and we all hope that along the way we'll inspire someone. Will inspire someone to go on and do something great in maths, or something great in science, or something great in English. And a lot of the children leave this school, and we don't get to see them very often. I mean, I still live in the village, and I see children coming down from the high school, and sometimes they say, "Hello, sir." I can't actually recognise them because they're so much taller, or they've changed a lot. So it's nice to really meet someone that you know you've inspired. Is a real special feeling, really very humbling. So I'm really proud that Shreyans has come back here today. I'm really proud of his dedication. I'm really proud of his creativity. I'm really proud of his efforts to come this far and to print a fantastic book and to be here today. So first of all, thanks to Shreyans. Can we give him a big round of applause, please? We'd also like to thank Mr. Mayor, as well as Mr. Mayor and Mrs. Mayor for being here. It's a real privilege to have them with us today. So can we give them a... Remember, thank you for being here today. I'm sure you're very busy and taking time with us to be here. It's fantastic. Thank you very much. Can we give them a... I'd also like to thank as well is Mr. Ranjauka. He's hiding behind a pillar over there. But, he's worked extremely hard over the last few weeks to make today possible. And he's also worked extremely hard to support Shreyans. I don't think Shreyans would be here today without the support of his father. The amount of work he's put in to help Shreyans get this to where he is now. So I think, Mr. Ranjauka, thank you very much. That needs thanking, who spoke a lot this afternoon, but Mrs. Kozlowski's worked incredibly hard as well. At the school end, to make all this possible too. Lots of emails, lots of phone calls, lots of hard work in the background, and lots of us don't see, so I know that she's worked incredibly hard. So can we give her a round of applause? Mrs. Steele. I think Mrs. Steele is doing a fantastic job at the school. These children wouldn't be here, and Shreyans wouldn't be here without the guidance you give us, and the creativity you give the teachers, and the opportunities that the school have. I'm hoping that someone in this room, maybe more than one person in this room, will put aside today, not just to become a great writer, but maybe to become a great mathematician, maybe to become a great scientist. It's in every single one of you to reach your potential and really go for it, just like Shreyans have. I'm hoping it's an inspiration, and I know that Mrs. Steele makes this school possible so that all of you have the opportunity to really go for your go for your potential basically and be the best you can be. So can we give Mrs. Steele a round of applause?
Right, well, that brings us to the end. Thank you, Mr. Dunstan, for that. brings us to the end of the actual ceremony. As I mentioned before, the book is now available. It's on sale. You can be one of the first people to buy it.
Thank you very much indeed, Sharon.
Oh, thank you very much. Lovely.
Thank you.
It does, doesn't it? It's quite a logistical exercise. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.